days ago, evidence emerged about Iran's continued violations of United Nations resolutions by way of providing missiles to Houthi rebels. The weapons, which Iran is providing to Houthi rebels, Hezbollah, and Hamas, are possible because of an illegal action the Obama administration committed when they transferred in total $1.7 billion to the radical Islamic government in Iran. The cover story that the Obama administration ran with was that the $1.7 billion paid to Iran, including a $400 million ransom payment, was in fact part of a settlement agreement from a cancelled arms deal from 1979, when radical Islamic terrorists took over the Iranian government. Iran had been arguing for years that they were owed this money. Yet many Iranian officials were referring to the initial $400 million cash payment as a ransom for American citizens being held in Iranian prisons. Aside from the fact that the Obama administration was responsible for funding a terrorist-sympathizing government, what has never been widely discussed in the mainstream media is that Obama administration officials essentially committed money laundering when they transferred this $1.7 billion to Iran. Essentially, what President Obama authorized was for funds to be wired from the Federal Reserve Bank in New York, converted to Swiss francs, and the money was then moved to a Swiss national bank. Once this was done, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York withdrew the funds from the account and then physically transferred the money to an official from the Iranian Central Bank who was waiting on a tarmac in Iran. Documents revealed by the Treasury Department stated, for the first settlement payment in January, Treasury assisted the Defense Finance and Accounting Services (DFAS) in crafting a wire instruction to transfer the $400 million in principal from the Iran FMS Foreign Military Sales Program account. On January 14, 2016, Treasury worked with the DFAS and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York (FRBNY), which was acting as Treasury's financial agent, so that the funds were converted from dollars to Swiss francs and credited to a FRBNY account at the Swiss National Bank (SNB), which is the central bank of the Switzerland (SIC). The evidence of this was presented to the media by Ambassador Nikki Haley, saying at a press conference that the nuclear deal has done nothing to moderate the regime's conduct in other areas. Aid from Iran's Revolutionary Guard to dangerous militias and terror groups is increasing. Its ballistic missile and advanced weapons are turning up in war zones across the region. It's hard to find a conflict or a terrorist group in the Middle East that does not have Iran's fingerprints all over it. Speaking on the particulars of the transfer, conservative commentator from Fox News, Charles Krauthammer, said, "They had to print the money here, ship it over to Switzerland, turn it into Swiss francs and euros, and then ship it over to Iran. If a private company had done this, this is called money laundering. The CEO would be in jail right now." What Charles Krauthammer was referring to was a report in the Wall Street Journal stating that the Justice Department objected to the way the State Department and the Obama administration handled the transfer of funds to Iran. The Justice Department's objection arose because what Obama and his minions did was illegal. Essentially, what the Obama administration did, along with the help of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, was commit the crime of money laundering. The way that the Obama administration performed this transfer of funds to Iran was done so in an effort to go around U.S. sanctions and laws, since the money was in reality a ransom payment for U.S. hostages. Congress investigated the events and logistics surrounding these payments to Iran. but they were unable to complete a thorough investigation because Obama and his co-conspirators blocked various requests for detailed information regarding these payoffs to Iran. Adam Credo from the Washington Free Beacon reported, by withholding critical details and stonewalling congressional inquiries, President Obama seems to be hiding whether or not he and others broke U.S. law by sending $1.7 billion in cash to Iran, Pompeo told the Free Beacon. But Americans can plainly see that the Obama administration laundered this money in order to circumvent U.S. law and appease the Islamic Republic of Iran. What brought these events to the attention of Congress was the timing. Mike Pompeo, who was a House Intelligence Committee member at the time, and is now the director of the CIA, said, "Think about this timeline. The U.S. withdraws $400 million in cash from the Swiss National Bank, and then physically transports it to another city to hand off to Iranian officials 3 days before Iran releases 4 American hostages." But it gets worse. Less than a week after this, the U.S. again sends hordes of cash to Iran. As we speak, Iran is still holding 3 more Americans hostage, and I fear what precedent this administration has set, based on Iran's current violations of UN rules and sanctions. It is clear they used the money they received from the Obama administration to continue funding terrorism, as well as their proliferation of nuclear weapons. Thankfully, President Trump and Ambassador Nikki Haley are determined to stop Iran, along with CIA Director Mike Pompeo. However, the question remains whether or not anyone from the Obama administration, including President Obama, will be held accountable for funding terrorism.